Hey, Steve? Quinn?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Never mind. It's working now. The sound wasn't working.
Yeah, can you hear me? Charlie?
Yes, it's working now.
Okay.
Thanks.
Morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Hey, Ken.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Doing well. You're gonna explain this. Yes. It's in writing in here then also. Yeah.
You sign those two.
Ryan, did you get your packet? Thanks, sir. Anybody else need anything? No. Thanks. You've got coffee here. Anybody like the bagels? The coffee looks good. The cups in the vase probably. Or do we just drink out of the box? I guess some here. Okay.
And there's blue cheese in it. Got some this one.
Yeah, everybody's.
Here's black, Kevin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cream and sugar.
Yeah, you want me to get Mario?
Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
It's really strong.
It's pretty dark. Never know when you're through.
It's all drinking.
There you go. Fine all day, right?
Oh, a little simple for.
Yeah,
Sometimes. Here's what I remember in Windsor that they bring it at the end. It's only about this big.
Yeah.
A little tiny glass.
Yeah, and if you drink it, it's like, gee. That's right where the guy got the
No.
$5.
Nothing.
Sort of our energy exploration for.
Signed document.
Yeah, I have my own. But
Is everybody ready? Very.
Yep, I think we can, all right, I think we're ready to begin.
11:02.
11:02, I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Advanced Technology Academy regular meeting of Board of Directors, Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. Before I do the roll call, I would like to have us have a moment of silence for the victims in the Oxford shooting last week. Thank you. And to do the roll call, Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford, present.
Janice Gilliland.
Janice Gilliland, present virtually from Detroit, Michigan.
Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams, present virtually from Novi, Michigan.
Marcus Scott. Marcus Scott is absent today, and Steve Borich is present at the Advanced Technology Academy in Dearborn.
Mr. President, I would mark Marcus Scott did get previous approval.
Correct, yes, he did inform us he was unable to make it due to prior conflicts of his employer. At this time, are there any public comments as it relates to the agenda of the meeting? Hearing no public comments, I'll move on to the next item, which is the adoption of the consent agenda. To adopt the agenda of the regular meeting from December 8th, adoption of the regular minutes of October 27th, and the adoption of the annual meeting minutes on August 18th. Could I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Janice Gilliland moves for adoption.
And could I have a second?
Kevin Ford seconds.
And to a roll call, Kevin Ford,
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland,
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
Kenneth Williams,
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
and Steve Borich votes aye. The adoption of the consent agenda is approved. The next item on our agenda is the treasury report. I'll hand it over to Mr. Bob Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very brief. Just a couple items that were in your packet. The first quarter financial report is very early in the fiscal year, so nothing really surprising there. On the balance sheet, we were quite good in terms of cash. If you recall from our limit, we have a very good fund balance that we built up. So we were able to not have to borrow a state aid note this year, which is, I'll get to that when we get to our ratings report, which is one of the factors in their new rating. The budget, the actuals for the year, well within budget on everything. It's very early in the fiscal year. We're showing quite a big deficit at the end of September, first quarter, but that goes away as the year goes on because we didn't start earning revenues until start of school, but we were operating for 3 months. So it's a typical deficit this time of year. So nothing earth-shattering with the first quarter financials. Any questions? We did receive a very positive piece of news from Standard & Poor's. Each year they re-rate our 2019 facility revenue bonds. It's a requirement in the bond indenture that provides assurance to investors and bondholders that our financial regime is in order. So this is the first time we've ever achieved a ratings upgrade. Previously, our original bonds in 2008 were BBB minus, which is the lowest investment grade. And then we were, over the period of the next 10 years, we were downgraded twice. And most of it was due to cash on hand issues. And you see that as a primary liquidity indicator. They don't really look at the large receivables we have from the state of Michigan.
Right.
So this year, with our cash on hand having improved dramatically, they did us a favor. All the bad things I've said about past years, I guess I'll have to eat some of that. They actually upgraded us back to a BB plus.
So what does that mean in terms of the bonds?
Stable.
Stable, yeah, which is good. What does that mean?
What does that mean in terms of the borrowing that we did prior, or?
It doesn't affect it. It doesn't change that interest rate because that was locked in as a fixed rate. But it does tell investors that, that if they're interested in purchasing those bonds, that we're stable financing.
Okay, so those bonds are still in,
Yeah,
they're floating around.
They're trading.
And because of that rating, people are willing to pay a little bit more.
Correct.
Based on the state.
And then if we were to borrow again, then we start from, a better position. So this is the highest non-investment grade rating you can have. So we're just one notch under the investment grade, which is very positive. So if you have a chance to read the report, it's it just basically gives a good summary of the school and our recent financial performance, which you knew already from the audit report back in October. So, but it's good to get that independent affirmation. So, with that,
Any other questions for Bob related to the treasurer's report? Okay, I'd ask for someone to accept the treasurer's report, make it a nomination, motion to accept the treasurer's report. Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin Ford makes a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
And do I have a second?
Kenneth Williams makes a second.
Thank you, Kevin.
thank you.
Or Ken. Kevin. Take the roll call. Kevin Ford,
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland,
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
Kenneth Williams,
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
and Steve Ford votes aye, and motion passes 4-0. The next item is the management report. I'll turn that over to Mr. Hawthorne to give the report.
I'm going to let the management report pretty much stand for itself. It is a 10-page report that I think is very thorough. And I'd like to highlight a few items for it, though. And if the board has any questions about it, we can entertain those. I'm going to give a little bit of an overview. I'm going to turn it over to each one of the principals to make a comment. First of all, I want to again congratulate Bob Whitman and what he did on the S&P ratings. That's very, very significant. It's highlighted in our annual report. If we don't have a good run business structure, the school will survive. We were concerned about it coming into this year after coming off the pandemic. Our enrollment is stable. In fact, we had to turn away students due to lack of some teachers. And we're very pleased with the management team that has been put together, in particular our fiscal staff. There have been a number of issues that have been concerning to us. We led with in our management report the incident in Oxford. We had had some issues internally within the school. And on this one issue, I'm going to turn this over to Tarek Corey, that we had an incident of a shooter that came in Thursday night. He called me, I called the board president, and then we did in turn shut the school down on Friday. Tarek, would you give an overview? Tarek is our in charge of our model code of student conduct as the campus director for the model code of student conduct. And he's also he has a master's in he's in criminal justice and counseling. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. So Thursday night, I started receiving phone calls from staff and then emails from students and parents relating to a text message that was being spread throughout the school. And it went even into the middle school, and even I had elementary parents also relay that text message. It seemed to be the same text message. Contacted Barry, and we discussed it, and we decided as a precaution to close the school Friday, and then we went to our school closing protocols. I also contacted our school resource officer, Officer Morandini from the Dearborn Police Department, let him know that we had a possible threat. So closing the school down as a precaution allowed us to investigate the text messages. So basically what I did is I took all the emails and reports and contacted parents whose children received the text message and basically narrowed down the source of the text message. And in the text message, it's in the management report, it refers to the sister. So if I found out who the originator of the text message was, I could then find out who the sister was. And it's about midday Friday, I finally found out who that was, contacted the guardian of the students, and then went from there. There was no credible threat. It was a lot of, well, I heard a student in the hallway, it was crowded, not sure who it was. I got specific with the student, asked some detailed questions as to what time they heard this threat, where were they, and then I was able to go on camera and see if any students. I also spoke with other students that were surrounding by the student at the time, as well as staff that were in the hallway at the time, and no one seemed to hear this threat. So it's determined that the student didn't really hear that a shooter was coming into the building, and that it was made up to get the day off of school. She reiterated it to her sister at night, at approximately 8:30 at night, and that's when the sister sent out the text messages. So what we found out was within 15 minutes, the message was spread throughout the entire district, all 3 schools. Okay, that's how fast this information goes through. You obviously had a lot of worried parents, a lot of worried staff, and a lot of worried students. The good news is a lot of students and parents came forward and provided that information to us. So that led us then to determine that there was no credible threat. We were able to open school on Monday.
And we have a Dearborn police officer stationed at our school.
Yes.
And we're going to go in more depth in this under new business. Hannah and we'll be discussing this again, but I want to bring the board up to speed on that. What we have been doing with the Dearborn police is filing police reports, and they are following up. If you read the Detroit News today, the prosecutor, Kim Worthy, is taking a very strong hand against anyone that does these naked allegations at schools. And so we're working closely with the Dearborn Police Department and the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. We also want to investigate the items too, to make sure that if there's any hint of it, we're going to shut the school down. So.
But we have increased security presence on campus. We reminded teachers in regards to the ALICE training, because we are an ALICE trained school.
And we also have the ability with we do have metal detectors.
Yes.
We do not have them turned on now, but we have the ability to do that. Use them as they come in. Do we turn them on now when it comes in?
Yeah, actually, I think we do have them on now.
You do have them on? Okay, all right, good. Kevin asked me that.
Do you want me to go into
Yes.
evidence of yesterday?
Yes, and we also had a second offense yesterday. We had another incident came up, and I asked Tark to get this.
So this one didn't make the management report because it happened yesterday morning. Jim Lundy contacted me early, around 8:30 yesterday morning. A student came forward and said that they received a message of an Instagram page, and the Instagram page was actually called ATA Threats _. And on that page was an actual threat towards one of our staff members, and a time and a date. And so once I took that information, and then of course, same thing, it got around to the school pretty quick. But I relayed that information to the Dearborn Police Department with our school resource officer, and they were able to issue a warrant to Instagram. And from that warrant, Instagram provided information of the IP address and the contact number of what that page was connected to. And from there, we went and sought out the student that was responsible for it. So it was made not to actually, according to the student, because they did confess to the Dearborn police. They did interview the student, and we advised the parent that, even though students said that, well, wasn't really that serious, they were making it that serious. We're treating it as serious, and so is the Dearborn Police Department. The department told me that Kim Worthy, the Wayne County prosecutor, are taking these things very seriously. And if you see the news, it's happening pretty much all over the place. No matter what county you're in, it seems to be.
One time there were 60 schools shut down.
Yeah. And they're just, I know talking with our school resource officer from Friday and from Monday and from yesterday, he has handled over 100 threats from different schools. Most of them, all of them pretty much non-credible. But, it is disheartening that students are going to some of these lengths to either try to get out of school or to have it be a joke, but we're going to take it very seriously. And we inform the parent of there's the legal side that she's going to have to be dealing with, and then there's also the school disciplinary side of it.
And I might as well, I was going to wait with this one till Mr. Lundy's speaking, but I'll bring this up and then we'll come back to these other issues. But we also had an issue with a letter from some of our teachers in the 6th grade concerning a teacher had alleged an assault against her. We turned that matter, we reviewed it internally, and then it got to my attention. I then met with the principal again, Hannah, Mr. Bolger, our campus safety. We've asked the teacher then to file a formal complaint with the Dearborn Police Department, and we're investigating it. The student was put on a 10-day suspension, and the parent has the student at home at the current time. So that's under review. We can't discuss more. That would have to go into a closed session with the board. But I just want to let the staff know that we are fully supportive of the staff, and we do have the Dearborn Police on site, and we do take these matters seriously. On a lighter matter, I'd like to get back to some issues that we're currently working on, and the number one issue that has my personal attention is our healthcare program. And we started the Henry Ford Health System on site. The last 2-3 months, we're averaging about 400 or more patients a month. The Henry Ford Health System is meeting with our Kyle, our director of IT, to finalize the TIDO program that will allow the doctors and dentists and people to meet with our staff on site at our medical center. Mr. Quillen and I are working on ways to expand the program. One new issue that we're going to be working with over the holidays is we're asking our social workers, our deans of students, to work with our medical staff to get all of our students registered for Medicaid. That's our number one issue, is that our social workers will have to work with the families to assure that those who are on free and reduced lunch are registered for Medicaid, so they have a Medicaid number that allow us to then expand the services with Henry Ford Health System. So that's a key piece that we're going to try and work with over the holidays during our downtime to get the students registered. We also have been working with our internships. Our Workforce Development Center will be expanding our internships from 50 to 100 students in the 11th grade going into the senior year. Our goal is to get all students will complete a paid internship. Anna, Cindy Anderson, and the staff there are working diligently on that, and I think that's going to fall in line. Steve has been working with the Detroit Employment Training Department to have that occur. We also took some students to the Detroit Economic Club several days ago to meet with the Secretary of Commerce, and we got a chance for our students to interact with them. The bond rating I've issued. I would like to go back to, let's start with the elementary school and work way back up to the high school. And Brian, how are we doing in the elementary school? Elementary and preschool.
Doing good. Numbers are holding steady. Parents have been very good with us, both with letting us know when contact with their students are made with anybody that's COVID positive. They've been keeping them out and quarantining them, and been very supportive both to Mario, our nurse, to me, the teachers. So that's been good. Especially the last couple of weeks, a number of them that have reached out, hey, my kid has been in contact with so-and-so on the state. I'll keep them out when, should they return, do they need to get tested? So I've been very happy with that. We had literacy for kids program a couple of weeks in, and it was a couple authors that came in and read some stories to our grade school kids, and they also got to keep copies of the book that were autographed by the author. That went very well. The kids liked it. And I have a bunch of pictures that I'll submit of them reading to the kids, but that was pretty fun. Encouraging news on employment. So I had a teacher start last week. She was a pre-K lead. She came over to take place of one of our long-term subs in first grade, Miss Crocker. And she's looking to finish out her teaching degree and be with us permanently. And I've been very impressed with what she's been able to come in and establish in her first week. So that was a good find. I have a lady who might do her intern teaching. I'm trying to finalize that with us. That would be in first grade. And she would also like to stay here on completion of that, which would get us back up to 4 legit sections of first grade moving into next school year, assuming everybody stays. And then I also have a lady finishing student teaching right now. She finishes the 10th. And she is interested in our second grade position that has a long-term sub. So I'm going to try and get her in either tomorrow or Friday and work on that, see if we can get her starting sometime in January. And that would fill that long-term spot with an actual certified teacher starting in January. So that's been very promising. We kind of started with my exploratory teacher, Mr. Young. We kind of started doing some broadcasting things, and he put together a video for Thanksgiving with the kids talking about things they're thankful for, true meaning of Thanksgiving and whatnot. He has started this week working on one that we are going to do for Christmas, which we'll probably post next Thursday or Friday. And I will pass that on, so it's on our Facebook page as well as Class Dojo for the parents. I know the first one got a lot of really good feedback. Other than that, we have NWEA's second round coming up in about a month. So we're already starting to get in the kids' ears, letting them know that is coming up here soon, and making sure that it's taken seriously, not just by them, but the parents too.
So, okay, and we have, Mr. Lundy, let's give him an overview of the middle school.
Yeah, so one of the things I'm most proud of from the first quarter is student achievement. We had over 100 kids that made the honor roll in the first quarter. That's over 1/3 of the middle school total population. It's never been that high since I've been this my 14th year as principal. So this is the highest GPAs we've had going in. And I know because it's the first quarter, folks might think it's a little bit easier, but coming off the pandemic, the kids are really hopping right into some learning, trying to catch back up. So there's a lot of positive stuff going on in regards to that. Another great thing that's been implemented is the workforce development department that Hannah and Ashley are a part of. It's great to see every day that the kids get an interest in a career and they're pulled out during their lunch and they get to speak with and meet with people that are already in the industry. So these are definitely positive things. Our counselor, Mrs. Owen, we had over 1,200 cans donated to Gleaners Food Bank for Thanksgiving. So this was something that was outstanding. So the kids did a great job of that. And then another thing, going back to the workforce development, and I had a contact with a gentleman that was interested in, and as a professional in the music industry, we have quite a few kids that are interested in that. So we did start a music club, which has been going very well. So the students are very, very involved and interested in that.
Okay, and then in the high school, I'd like to go to Cindy next, and I'll come back to Tara. But Cindy, Henry Ford College has established a trade school at the MTech Center. And we're part of that, and we're also rebranding our mechatronics center to our trade school also. I'd like to give a little bit of overview of what's going on with that.
Well, yes, Henry Ford College has opened their trade school. It's at MTech on Schaefer Road. And they're having a lot of the different programs, either certification programs, but they're also having associate degree programs. So we're sending over some of our students over there for the winter to take a mechatronics class there. So we're trying to kind of get them into the programs of the trade school at Henry Ford College. So we're looking there. The other things that we have going on, and they're on pages, 3 through 5 here in your management report, because now we're part of the Workforce Development Center where we do the early middle college, we do the CTE programs, we do post-secondary programs. So you can read through that. We're kind of working with Davenport, Eastern Michigan University, LSSU, and of course, Henry Ford College. And we're starting to take the students out so that they can get that normal experience of going out either to the colleges or there's certain CLEs that we're doing there. And I think maybe you want us to also say that Judy Kingery now that is going to be a coordinator of our CLEs. And so we have a lot going on, but we're trying to get the students back up either academically or socially and trying to get them out of the school and into different areas.
Okay, and I want to go to the athletic director too, and Hannah's going to speak at the new business. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple of things. I think it's on, looks like pages 8, 9. We wrapped up the football season. We had a homecoming game and senior night the same night. Wrapped up the season. There's some nice pictures in there. We had a great turnout. And then we also hired 2 new basketball coaches this year. Derek Jackson for the men's team, John Holly for the women's team, and they put together a showcase, which was kind of just a scrimmage between the 2 teams, almost a blue and gold scrimmage, if you will. And we sold it out, which was really cool, and have high expectations for that. Real quick, getting back to the football, we do have a banquet this year. We decided to do a football banquet. That is Wednesday, December 15th. So we're excited about that. It's going to be in the cafeteria. Boys started yesterday in basketball. They won their first game. The young ladies were supposed to have played 3 games by now, but they've all been canceled for other reasons.
Yeah.
And but they do play tonight at home. It's a game we added to the schedule because we lost 3 games. So they play tonight at home, and they'll be kicking off their season. So we're excited about that.
Okay, Tarek, do you have anything you want to add on the high school?
Just on the academic piece of, we did end quarter 1, and working with the counselors to go over those students that are struggling. The 9th grade seems to be doing the best out of all the grades, which was nice to see. But the counselors will be meeting with students regarding poor academics to ensure that they don't lose credit by the end of the semester. We've also reached out to their parents as well. The past couple of weeks, we've really increased our career college readiness. We have a lot of, if you can refer to page 5, the amount of colleges and universities that have done visits on our campus, and students and seniors that are going to those. We usually take 11th, 12th graders and they attend those. We also have a FAFSA night coming up for senior students and their parents, and that's going to be on December 16th. And our college advisor, Ms. Perez, will be assisting with that and helping parents fill out the FAFSA. Everyone remembers how FAFSA applications are. It could be, yeah, a headache, right? So we will be helping parents fill those out and assisting them with that. So that's pretty much what I have.
Okay, I'll say, and that concludes our management report. And then ask the board to accept the report.
Any questions from board members about the management report?
There's one question on technology use. Talked about 95% of our students equipped with a Chromebook. And I think in prior years, we've always talked about replacing the fleet of Chromebooks and being up to date. I haven't heard very much about that in the last.
Is Kyle on line right here? Kyle, but I believe.
Yeah, I am here. I'm just under the public account.
Okay, can you give an overview of how we're replenishing our computers? And we've received everything this year, pretty much, right?
Yeah, we did finally receive all of our shipments. The normal 1-to-1 program to get us to 100% of all student Chromebooks is about 500 units a year. We got kind of offset by a lot of this because of the Emergency Connection Fund money. So we ordered essentially 95% of the units through the ECF, which will arrive hopefully within the next month or so. And that will actually keep our stock good all the way through next school year. So we might not have to do that extra 500. I'm guessing that's why you haven't heard about things lately, because we've been.
You had a different source of funding, so we didn't have to discuss it.
Right.
Well, while you're on, why don't you explain what you did for the elementary school? You brought in to replace all of the boards this fall.
Yeah, part of the funding to come back into the school, we were able to use to get the one-screen TVs, which there's one in the boardroom right now that you guys are looking at. But we ended up getting a full complement of them. So every single classroom, aside from the computer labs and the pre-K, have a one-screen TV now.
Now, is that all through the entire school or just through the whole school?
Whole school. Yep.
So it's 100 classrooms, basically.
Yeah, we have 68 units. We haven't replaced the pre-K yet, and then we have a couple on carts that we can move around and use for events and stuff in the field house cafeteria.
So those are all installed. So that's
Yep, all installed and up and running.
Better lesser money for that. The first one, Chromebooks, that was over $300,000 grant.
So I would say we are the advanced technology cafe.
I like it.
There we go. Thank you.
Any other questions at this time? I had a question regarding COVID positive cases. When those were reported, like a student calls and said they have got that COVID or a parent calls in, are those tracked and reported to parents? Is that sort of is it daily or weekly or as
Yeah, we usually, we work closely with the school nurse.
Okay.
And we require that, if they say that they are, if they get, let's say the parent calls in and the school nurse determines if they are having symptoms, we encourage them to get a PCR test. And if they test positive,
they call and say,
yeah, and then we document it, the cases. We put it on our website, the cases that we've had, and we monitor those closely. We send out close contact letters to, students that may have been in close contact. Usually it's the roster of the classes that they're in. And we send those letters out to parents, letting them know, keep an eye.
Or next sports team or something.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was curious, and I've seen in the school that I'm involved with my children, and they'll send a notice of how many cases there were that day. If you don't get a notice, and there were none, and all of them mostly say, hey, we didn't isolate this to happening in the school, it happened outside of school, but we're notifying the community. All right, thank you. With that, I'd ask for a motion to accept the management report.
Kevin Ford offers a motion to accept the management report.
Thank you, Kevin. Can I get a second?
Janice Gilliland seconds.
Thank you, Janice. And I'll take a roll call. Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland.
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
And Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
And Steve Borch votes aye. I think we have one item of old business, which is the ATA board response to Plant Moran audit report. It is part of the board packet. I don't know if anyone needs to speak on that or wants to.
The letter goes to Kevin Ford, would be signing it on behalf of the board.
Right.
It's just a formal requirement, a response to, usually it's, if there are issues in the audit that require action, whereas it was an unmodified opinion, but we still need a response.
Right.
So that's been signed already.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any questions about that? And do I need to have that approved as old business?
I would approve it.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the ATA board response to Plant Moran audit report?
Kevin Ford offers a motion to approve the response to ATA Academy fiscal year 2021 financial audit.
Thank you, Kevin. And do I have a second?
Kenneth Williams seconds.
Thank you, Kenneth. And the roll call, Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland.
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
And Steve Borch votes aye. The next item on the agenda is the new business. And the first item is the approval of the 2021-22 school safety plan.
This goes to Piano Hawthorne. We have completed the update of the Advanced Technology Academy's school plan that's also been approved by the city of Dearborn, the police chief, Ronald Haddad, and Aaron Morandini, our school resource officer, Mr. Bradley, the Dearborn emergency manager, Joe McMurray, Dearborn police chief, and Hannah, would like to give an overview. And this is our comprehensive plan that is on file, and we're very proud of it with the Alice training and everything.
Yeah.
Want to give an overview, Hannah?
For sure. Okay, so there's a few things going on here. That is the safety plan that we do every year. It's a consolidated plan though, based on what Dearborn is looking for. They gave us a checklist to put everything in. So that's exactly what's in the plan. We do have 3 here for you guys to look at. One of them have to go back to the Chief Haddad. The gentleman helped me at the fire department, but then took back the plan. So I need to go back and give them to the police and emergency manager. So they all have the plan. Also,
And you're seeking board approval of the plan today.
Officer Morandini has that. Yep. And
School board that has the board approval.
yes, so I would like to have that plan approved because there's a few.
That's the first one. Then the next one would be designated appointment of the school safety liaison.
Yep. So do we need to do the first one first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any questions regarding the school safety plan? I know we've gotten full copies of things like that before, I know the whole set.
Yeah.
Prior year.
It's
that's-
just consolidated.
Just consolidated, okay. There's no questions, I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2021-22 school safety plan.
Need a motion? Need a motion to accept the school safety plan from the board.
This is board member Gill, and I don't have that in my packet.
It's, well,
Yeah, Dr. Leland, I did not put that in the board packet only because it's so extensive. And it is direct with all of the information in it from the city. And it's everything that you have seen in the past, nothing new actually at all. It's just organized in the fashion that the Dearborn Police and Fire Department.
would you like to see it first, or
But
as a school evacuation plan, it has individual safety plan, it has the school plan forms, as a first protocol, academy alarm system, school violence attacks. It includes.
The biggest thing that it has is the protocols in regards to if we were ever to have an incident here on campus, we have assigned roles. So we will be going through that extensively.
Is
We used to have a weekly COVID meeting. We will be replacing the COVID meeting with a security meeting that we will be having with the principals. So everyone's on the same page.
Would you,
Do we still have our officer that took us through this?
yes,
Officer
Oh,
Martin.
yes.
Officer Mardini.
He's still on
Okay.
site.
And he was the one that actually gave me the safety plan checklist.
I think it's on, went through the last.
This is the city of Dearborn with a safety plan checklist they like all schools to follow.
And I'd be more than happy to bring that over to show you. Dr. Leland, if you first sheet.
No, I don't need to see a copy. I just was looking for it. That's great. And I wonder if something that can be considered for the safety plan is, and maybe this doesn't go in the safety plan, but somewhere else. But a discussion with the students about, whether it be the teachers or the counselors doing this, about the severity of making false threats. I don't know if something that's our school safety officer can do, but I know that I've heard of other districts that are having these discussions, and we're seeing Kim Worthy on the news, and we're seeing, I think, upwards of 10 students have been charged for things like that. So I don't know if that's part of a safety plan or part of a safety prevention strategy.
To go along with that,
Janice, how about this? Why don't you just approve it? Why don't you just tag on to your motion that the board asks the administration to do a review of our protocols in this regard, which you just stated.
well, can I say something really fast?
But we're asking the board wants to approve this. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay,
So if the
right.
board approves it, they can approve it subject to, we're gonna hold.
Well, we have had it okay
We're
to
gonna,
say.
subject to the staff, again, revisiting with the students, the protocols with regard to what's going on with Kim Worthy, which we will do. Let's try to get the motion approved.
Okay, so at the front of the school, as you guys walked in, you probably saw the okay to say gigantic flyer that we had. We were one of the first schools in the state to have the OK to Save program implemented to every single student in the middle school. Also, Officer Morandini has recently been in to discuss such situations as well as health programs. We are able to do that in the high school with RX program. We will look into doing that. And we also have had the students meet with the police officer to interview the police officer, but we can do more of a safety protocol with Brian's program as well. The Michigan State Police Department is going to be doing a program in February. We'll be receiving material next month called STEP program that will go to all third or fifth grade students in the elementary school. So we do have a program for safety in every school. The only thing that I saw that the Oxford school did that we have not done is provide ALICE training to our students. And that's something that we could talk about doing as well. But all the teachers have had ALICE training. All of the teachers have had the critical intervention response training, which means that if a child acts out, the teacher is quickly able to disarm, so to speak, the student's behavior so that they don't get over the top and do that very quickly. So they have had that. The security has gone through a 3-day extensive training on that. It came in handy. We actually had a student that was a runner that likes to run around the school. I believe it was in the middle school. The situation escalated. They were able to use their training right away. So we are doing that. We do have first aid and CPR. We are very close to the state police. This year, I would love to have the principals come to SEPLA training. SEPLA training is a program for the police department to put on with the teachers and principals to educate about how to do a lockdown. I have been part of that, and I have seen that, and a lot of the training that's in the folder is part of that as well.
Okay.
And then in the document also is the severe chemical, if we have any severe chemical, any active shooter situations. We are also in communication with the emergency manager about a location for relocation if anything were to happen, such as Oxford, in our school as to where everyone is to go. That is the only part that I would say that we need to implement into these folders that needs to be discussed with the emergency manager so far. But everything that has been discussed just previously is located within this binder. So that would
Excellent. It's good to hear a summary of those things and a reminder of everything going on. And I appreciate the efforts in there. And in light of, you mentioned that Chief Haddad of the Dearborn Police has already approved the school safety plan. I will forward a motion to approve the 2021-2022 school safety plan.
Hey, can I have a second?
Kenneth Williams seconds the motion.
Thank you, and we'll take a roll call. Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland.
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
And Steve Forward votes aye. Next on the agenda is the designation appointment of school safety liaisons to the Michigan School Safety Commission.
Would be Hannah Hawthorne and Greg Bowler.
Yes.
Greg is our campus safety, director of campus safety.
Now, are those the people that are current?
Yes.
We don't have anyone.
You don't have,
Yeah,
okay,
this
so now
is-
it's a new thing. Okay.
Yep. Well, 2018, but yes.
Is there any questions on that or more discussion needed?
No, it's outlined on the first page as to what it is. Generally, it would just be Greg Bowler and myself going to the state school safety commission meetings with the state's police officers to discuss what's going on. We don't have anyone designated yet, but I believe we'll be getting a lot of information about this recent tragedy and how to handle it in an improved manner once we do join.
So with that, I'd like to get a motion to accept the designated appointment of our school safety liaisons to the School Safety Commission.
Janice Gilliland moves to, we just accept this one, not approve?
You'd be appointing it. You'd be appointing Hannah and Greg.
To accept the appointment of the Hannah Hawthorne and Greg Bowler as school safety liaisons to the Michigan School Safety Commission.
Can I get a second?
Kenneth Williams seconds. Oh,
We don't know lights like Jeopardy.
Yeah, where's Marcus when you're sleeping sometimes? Take the roll call, Kevin Ford,
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland,
Janice Gilliam votes aye.
Kenneth Williams,
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
Morris also votes aye. The next item is the ESSER III funding recommendations.
Okay, that would be Steve Quillen.
Steve?
Just a little background before we get into the ESSER III. This is the third round of ESSER that we're into. The first round, we received almost $600,000 worth of funding. That mostly went to PPE and computer devices so that we could go virtual. In the second round, and then we also received the governor's the GEAR grant, which we used for the mobile lab, which we implemented. In the second round, we received $2.3 million, which we earmarked for the HVA system on the roof of the building. And those plans are in motion. We're going to be going to bid at the first of the year and coming back to the board with a recommendation of a contract to get that done in the spring of 2022. So that leads us to ESSER III. And this round, we have allocated $5.2 million, which is the largest allocation the school has received. We've been discussing what to do with the ESSER III over the past few months. And we come to the board today with a recommendation of funding for various projects that far exceeds the $5.2 million. But we wanted to bring everything to the board so that we can take that to the state.
And the board approve the plans.
To approve
To
that.
approve our plans, subject to the administration paring it down for,
Right.
to figure out how to do the specific funding.
It gives
The
us
board has
enough
to approve it.
flexibility to pare it down to something that's acceptable to the state, acceptable to us.
So we need to get this done to the state to get this approved by the state.
Right, right.
Okay, and then you have, as the architect is here, Mr. You want to introduce the architect?
Right, so in your packet, you'll find the following. There's a 2-page report titled Learning Loss. And that's very detailed on pieces that we'd like to pick up for learning loss, also social emotional. So I'll let that kind of stand as it is.
So we'll just give a history on that. This whole funding package was put together by our school improvement team, headed up by Kayla Greca, Kazan, and Steve Quinlan, and a group we put together. So,
and Chris Schultz.
And Chris Schultz.
Anything you want to comment on, Kay, on that 2-pager?
This is Kayla Greca, phoning in from Dearborn. All of the items that we selected, and we have added a few more to it, were all things that we are fairly confident we're going to receive approval for. So the state geared put us in the right direction of things that they found research-based that would be approvable. So we feel fairly confident from the feedback we got from parents, staff, administrator, and students that those things will be approved.
So you have a specific line items, a narrative, prepare, prevent, respond to cope, and then the budget timelines. We have Robert is here from, they were, used to be Milak Architects, and they've taken them over. And they've been our architect since we purchased the building. And they're going to give us an overview on what this would do to our campus. Robert, would you like to take it from here? You're muted.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Robert Miller with M Architects. I can be really brief on this. What we put together thus far is beyond a 30,000 foot view of the potential projects that we're taking a look at. So what we've put together is just some super quick concepts of what we could take a look at for building improvements. And so I don't know if we want to put it on the screen, or I can just walk everyone through if they have the physical sheets in front of them.
Can you put it on the screen? Do you have it?
Yeah, Kyle has it.
Kyle, can you put it on the screen for us? There you go.
All right, great, thank you. So the first page is just really the overall site plan. The gray area is the existing building. And then the three colored areas are the potential areas for building improvement. Actually, let me just go to the second page if you don't mind, please. So the lower right-hand corner is what we're calling the Mental Wellbeing Support Meditation and Yoga Center. And essentially it's an addition to the existing field house. So it will contain more of that field house feel to it, along with some new showers, which the existing field house does not have. And then between that and the existing building, we'll do a connector space that could be more of a gathering flex space. And then internally where your existing courtyard is what we're showing as a new cafeteria. So they'll be pulling the existing cafeteria out of the basement, which would be a great thing, and putting them on the ground level. So it'd be a new kitchen area, a new serving area, and then the seating area as well, with two entries on either side of it. So again, that's filling in the existing courtyard space. And then the next slide, please, that shows the second floor, which would be the infill area for the second floor over top of the proposed kitchen area, which would be what we're calling support services. So it would be counseling, psychology offices, second language offices, and then the Struggling Student Center as well. Yeah, thank you. So that would be, again, that's the second floor infill of that existing courtyard space. Again, that will sit over top of the first floor new kitchen area. And then the last slide is the existing pre-K area, pre-K building across the street. So we'd be putting an addition onto the end of that, which is the right side of the page. And that would be 6 new classrooms that we put, each would have its own bathroom as well. Taking a look at providing space for about 120 new students. And then there'll be some minor tweaks into the existing building, which is the portion on the left-hand side. So between the pre-K, existing pre-K area and then the kindergarten addition, we'll be taking a look at a total of about 200 students that could fit within that space. Again, that would be pulling students out of the existing overall school building, and then we could reuse those classrooms for additional students, either high school, middle school, or elementary, depending upon where the program takes it. So that's the quick rundown. I'm here to answer any questions that anyone has.
And this is similar to what we had proposed to the board a couple years ago, filling in the back courtyard. So I think the board is familiar with it. We are just trying to align our program with what the ESSER funding is requesting. So
it is in keeping with the strategic plan. You'll find a 2-page narrative which details these projects. We did a kind of a broad brush cost estimate on what these projects would cost without, actually going to market or anything. It's difficult to figure that out. So we did a square foot calculation, and it comes to over $9 million in total to do all 4 projects. So we're gonna have to pare this down, but we would like the board to approve the presentation all together in total today, so that we as the administration have the flexibility to work with the state, to work with our constituents internally to get something that works for everybody so we can move forward.
Are there any questions from board members regarding the recommendations that they're putting forth for these improvements? And we're not approving the specific improvement itself, or we'll be approving the plan, moving forward with the plan to continue the improvement plan.
For the ESSER 3 funding recommendations.
I think the only question I have is your existing cafeteria, the kitchen, what would that become? And then you're moving the kindergarten to.
Yeah, the goal is,
what would those classrooms be used for?
okay, there's a big thing on moving the kindergarten across the street. Number one is bathrooms. So each kindergarten room would have its own bathroom. And we would also have a serving area for food service over there. The second one is we're closing down the elementary cafeteria, which is in the basement. We're moving that upstairs, and then we will be able to have a full kitchen in our school, so we'll be able to cook our own food. So that's the piece, and we'll be expanding the area so that we can house everybody in the school with the 2 cafeterias. Okay, and then what we were going to call the second field house has to be tailored more to the health and awareness. It will look like a field house, but it will be with open space to do our wellness programs with Henry Ford Hospital and the other programs. And then there'll be a giant activity center where where kids can gather, because right now we just don't have open space. So the whole thing is around student wellness, nutrition, mental area with a space, and to improve toilets for the kids. I think that's right, if I missed anything.
Great, you covered it. Any other questions from board members regarding the conceptual planning? All right, with that, I'd have to have a motion to approve moving forward with the ESSER III funding recommendations.
Janice Gilliland moves to approve the management company to move forward with the ESSER III funding recommendations.
And do I have a second?
Kevin Ford, second.
Thanks, Kevin. And roll call, Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford, vote.
Janice Gilliland.
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
And Steve Borich votes aye.
Yeah, thank you, Robert Miller, for your presentation. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you,
it.
Robert.
All right, no problem. Have a good day, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
The last item on the new business is the employee COVID-19 policy.
That would go to Carly Turns. Carly, would you like to go over the OSHA policy?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So, according
Carly is our first director.
according to the emergency temporary standard that was released by all schools are required.
We can't hear Carly.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, try it again.
Can you hear me?
Now we do. Thank you.
Okay. So there's an emergency temporary standard that was released by OSHA.
Carly, we can hear you again. What?
Hang on.
Right, that'd be better.
Can you hear me now?
No, well, all right, Carly, we have the policy. This is the policy that the president has put in effect. Basically says that policy is that vaccination, testing, and face covering use supplies to all employees at Advanced Technology Academy, except for employees who do not report to the workplace. And you've read about this in the courts where we're recommending that we adopt the policy for COVID testing in the school. It's the protocol that we're following. And anything else we need to add on that, Carly? It basically requires all of us to be fully vaccinated if we are, or they have to wear a face mask and go to regular testing.
Yes, that's correct.
And that follows the Wayne County pretty much order that we're under anyway. So, but we required under MIOSHA and the Department of Education has asked all schools to approve this. So it's straightforward. It's in the board packets.
Any questions from board members or concerns?
Does this include the this booster shot issue or no? It's just a question.
No, it does not.
Does not. Okay.
I think at this time the CDC considers fully vaccinated just having your first round.
But we have issued booster shots at the school. We will be doing that coming up again. So everybody, even the board members are welcome to go.
Thank you.
Joy.
With that, I'd ask for a board member to make a motion to approve the employee COVID-19 policy.
Kevin Ford offers a motion to approve the COVID-19 vaccination, testing, and face covering.
Thank you, Kevin. Do I have a second?
Janice Gilliland seconds.
And roll call, Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland.
Janice Gilliland votes aye.
Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
And Steve Borich votes aye. The next item is the LSSU report. I do not see that Garnett is online. I'll give him a few seconds, and if he's not there, what we'll do is before we skip the LSSU report, I know we're working with LSSU to renew the school's charter, but other than that, I don't think I have anything else to report.
Okay, Carly, do you have? Kay, do you have anything new on the charter renewal?
No, but I do have a password now that I can look to see. we can start uploading the things to the attorney. So our next bigger item is to have our attorneys look at the new contract.
Okay, and Punkett's Cooney's in that loop?
What contract? This is the contract from LSSU to the school board, right?
Correct, correct. And we now have the Dropbox super secret password to start sending documents to the attorneys.
So as we get that account, then the management company gets our lawyers involved in it, and we can finalize the negotiations on the contracts. Good.
The goal is to have kind of everything done between February and March.
Good.
So I don't think we need to do anything to approve or not approve LSSU since they're not here to report. The next item, we have a proposed ruling in order of the board of directors regarding a parent complaint. At this time, I'm going to ask that we go into closed session. And John Gates, I have a question. In terms of the closed session, we'll begin this with just the board members, and I don't know if there's a member of the management.
Yeah, here's my understanding of how that works. First of all, you have to be in open session, which we are now, to go into closed. To go into closed session requires both a reason and a vote of the majority of board members.
Mm-hmm.
The reason in this case being, we'll be discussing a specific students and a parent and an employee, and they all have privacy rights that we would want to respect. And in fact, with the children, you would have federal law, FERPA would suggest they're entitled to privacy on these issues. So that's, and who is present is up to the board. My suggestion would be for Kayla Greca and Tarek Corey simply to be present in case the board has any questions.
And John, is okay if I sit in as the board of
You know, I guess that's up to the board, yeah. I think.
John, will you be attending?
Yeah, but I'm not attending as a representative of the school. I'm attending because the Open Meetings Act requires that you have minutes, even though they're not made public.
Right.
You're required to
Right.
keep minutes. So I'm just here to take the minutes. I'm not here to participate. And frankly, other than having given you my report on the topic, which is secondhand information from Kay and Tarek, I don't have any knowledge of this anyway.
Okay.
I would suggest that the board, though, hear this themselves with John Gates taking the minutes then. And all I'll state for the record from the management perspective is that we received the complaint and we assigned it to our campus administrator, which was Tarek Corey, for the purpose of the model code of student conduct. And our code is identical to the state of Michigan with a few exceptions. And then we did a review with the matter starting with the dean up to the principal and then to the campus administrator. And then we added a second review, which was done by the chief academic officer of the school, which is Kayla Greca. She then redirected another review with the some of her staff and our academic coaches and stuff going over it. I directed another review to look at our dean of students for the academy, Mr. Johnny Robinson, to look at the matter. And then I finally asked Mr. Gates to step in and review the matter. So you have minutes from both sides. You also have a letter that was received today and yesterday from the parent. And I think, given all the above, we just like the board to hear it on their own. And then if they have questions, they can call the members in. I just want to ask everybody, including myself, to clear the room, Steve, and just have the board. We would ask the board.
Before we do that, we're going to vote to go to closed session.
I think if everybody logs off except for board members, we just stay on this link instead of using the other link that I sent out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Gates, Ken, Janice,
I'm here.
and then, yeah, here at ATA.
Don't we have to vote to move into closed session?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that the board moves into closed session.
Can you be specific? Before we do this, I want specific, we're gonna do the board members. John Gates will stay to take minutes. Yes. And that'll be it. So the board, that'll be it. Okay, that's fine. So Shannon, you redo that motion and include John Gates for taking minutes.
If you have questions, you can call us.
Okay, so I move that the board move into closed session and John Gates will attend to take minutes. In addition, are we keeping Tarek and Kay?
They've already left. I thought we were gonna.
They are available.
You should be, let's call it back in. Okay, that's fine. How's that? That's that way. I just didn't want everybody to feel that we're prejudiced.
Okay, we still have, in this link, we do still have a couple of people logged in. One as ATA public, I think that might be Kyle.
We can still.
We have to,
Kyle is recording it,
but you can't, you don't want to record it.
so, so Kyle, turn off recording and get out of the meeting.
We can still vote to go into closed session.
You have to vote, yeah, go ahead and vote.
So, Janice,
She made the motion.
you made a motion. Do I have a second for that motion?
He'll be locked in. so-
Kevin Ford seconds.
Okay, we'll take a roll call. Kevin Ford,
Kevin Ford votes aye.
Janice Gilliland,
Janice Gillian votes aye.
Kenneth Williams,
Kenneth Williams votes aye.
and Steve Borge votes aye. So we'll go into a closed session, and once we're prepared to do that, we'll start.
At least you reviewed it, then you can call over. Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead, here. Everybody wants
so Kyle, you gonna log out?
Would you like any more coffee?
No, great, thank you.
Get out of here, Nick.
Can Kyle log out and?
Yeah, you don't want to just record it.
Kyle logs out of the meeting.